So there are a lot of things in Warzone that will make you a great player, but in today's video, I'm going to focus on what I believe to be the 3 most important tips that can make you a good player today. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Big Cat 188. So over the next couple of videos, I will be giving you guys a handful of tips to make you guys a better Warzone player so you guys can get more kills, get more wins, and become the best player that you could possibly be. So if you guys are new to the channel, consider subscribing, and if you guys find any of these tips helpful, be sure to hit this video with a thumbs up, and let's hop straight into the video. So tip number 1, what I have noticed from a lot of average or beginner players, they do not have the correct controller settings or game settings for what they are trying to do. And this goes for players that are on console and that are on PC. But guys, there are settings that will give you guys the best advantage. Yes, you can play with any controller settings, I understand that, but the majority of players have a very specific aim assist settings and a very specific aim response curve, and this is all because it helps them the most when it comes into gunfights and all of these kind of things. As you guys could probably already tell by now, tip number 1 is to change your end game settings. Now look, I understand a lot of players are very used to playing with their back bumpers, aka L2, R2, and RB and LB on Xbox. What I recommend for all of you players that are on controller that are used to doing that, you guys need to switch your aim down sight and your shoot to R1 and L1. And the reason you guys want to do this, I'm assuming that most of you guys are like me. I run with a standard controller, a standard PS5 controller that has no custom anything. I do have a custom controller on the way, but it is currently not here. I've never played with a custom controller. For you guys to get faster input on your ADS and your shooting, you guys want to switch your shoot and aim to L1 and R1 because it does have a faster response time than you guys using your L2 and your R2, your back bumpers. Now I understand it might feel a little bit different for you guys at first, but I promise you guys will get used to it. Just give it some time. Moving on, when it comes to your settings, make sure your guys' dead zone is at the right settings. You guys can look up videos on how to make sure you guys have the optimal dead zone because each controller is a little bit different. When it comes to sensitivity, I always tell people I recommend between a 6 and an 8. I personally play on an 8/8 sensitivity. Yes, you guys could play on something lower or something higher, but guys, it gets to a point where if your sensitivity is too low, you're going to be very slow when it comes to reacting to people that are flanking you and hitting you from different directions. And if your sensitivity is too high, it is the exact opposite, where you might overextend and you might reach people that are trying to flank you, and you might just completely miss them. So what I always recommend to average and beginner players is to try anywhere between a 6 and an 8 sensitivity and adjust it from there. If you guys want something a little bit higher, tick it up by 1. If you guys need something a little bit lower, tick it below by 1, and just adjust it to your liking. So when it comes to actually aiming on targets, guys, a lot of beginner and average players, you guys do not understand. You need to change your ADS low zoom sensitivity. Most people run between like a 0.8 and a 0.9. I personally run right in between at a 0.85. What this allows you to do is to be able to beam people from super far distances. I'm talking about the players that you're killing from 100, 200 plus meters. This is why players can beam you from a very far distance, because they are not overextending past their targets. They can actually make micro adjustments and stay on their target pretty well from a distance, because their low zoom multiplier is lower than what it usually starts off at, and at default it is at 1, a 1-to-1 ratio. And a low zoom multiplier is anything that has a zoom that is a 3.25 and below. So that's pretty much what everybody uses. The axial 3x arms, the VLK 3 optics, those are all low zoom. Anything below that is a low zoom, and it will be affected by this sensitivity change. Now conversely, I will see a lot of people do the same thing for their high zoom. Personally, I like my high zoom to be a bit faster if I'm going to snipe, but anybody who knows me, I do not enjoy sniping. But if I do happen to pick one up, I do like it to be a bit faster, because sniping is a little bit different from shooting people with a AR or an SMG. Now another big thing that you guys don't change, and this is probably the #1 thing that a lot of beginner and average players actually do not change, and it's actually crazy. Your aim response curve needs to be dynamic. Nothing else needs to be dynamic 100% of the time. This will give you the best advantage in a gunfight. This is the response curve that everyone uses. Make sure you guys are turning off your controller vibration, because that does mess you up with the micro adjustments. And I noticed that people that play on vibration, they actually are a little bit worse than players who don't. And I'm gonna tell you guys why. It is because they rely on vibrations to figure out where somebody is, instead of relying on the red arrows when when they get shot at to find out where somebody is shooting them from, which intentionally lowers their game awareness, which is not a good thing because we do not want players that have no type of situational and game awareness. Now moving on to the last couple of things, we're gonna start steamrolling through them. Your aim assist needs to be on standard, guys. All the other options really are not that great. They sound good, but I promise you standard is your best option. Guys, you want to make sure you are having on contextual tap. That is a given. That is how you can, you know, quickly pick things up. That is a very given. Armor plate behavior, apply all. Slide behavior, make sure this is on tap so you guys can slide cancel. We will cover slide canceling in all of the movement in another video, especially players that are like me that have a regular controller, bro. We are at the biggest disadvantage out of everybody, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot more of you guys than there are people that are using keyboard and mouse and that are using a custom controller. Make sure you guys are running with automatic tac sprint. It is very hard to get used to because, you know, shooting hip fires with shotguns and stuff, it does get a little bit weird, but I promise you guys, you will get used to it. So that'll do it for tip number 1, guys. Make sure you guys are using the optimal settings so you guys can have the biggest advantage when you are playing the game. Now tip number 2, guys, this one comes with a lot of practice. You guys must put time. This is with anything you do in life. You have to put time into it for you to get better at it. Now tip number 2 is improve your gun skill. What this pretty much entails, if you guys are a noob, you need to understand one thing. In Warzone, you guys are probably getting into very little gunfights, especially because most players, you guys play a little bit ratty. You guys kind of don't know how to pace yourselves or how to get those high kill games, 20 bombs and 15 plus and 30 bombs consistently. So you guys play a little bit ratty and you guys are not getting to a lot of engagements. And if you are getting to a lot of engagements, you're either sniping or you're just shooting people from a distance, which doesn't necessarily count as a, you know, a actual gun skill type of engagement. But when it comes for you guys getting close range, you're probably going to lose about 8 times out of 10. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to tell you guys how to fix that and how to improve your gun skill. Now, if you guys do not have multiplayer, I really do actually recommend you guys buying it or just play a lot of plunder, but actually try to get into gunfights. But I do recommend you guys getting multiplayer if you do not have it. Multiplayer is the best way to improve your gun skill because you guys can play against bots, and playing against bots, you guys can do a lot of things that'll help you improve your gun skill and your accuracy. So if you do have multiplayer, make sure you guys do a Hackney Yard free-for-all setup, and make sure you guys put your plate armor on 250 or put the health on 250, because that will emulate somebody in Warzone that has fully plated 3 armor. So you guys want to make sure you guys start up your free-for-all match, and what you guys want to do is you guys want to practice your aim without aim assist. You guys want to kill about 100 bots without aim assist. What this will do, killing bots without aim assist, it forces you to actually have aim without help. If you guys have ever played Rainbow Six Siege, you do not have aim assist on that game at all. You are forced to rely on your own accuracy and your own skill to actually kill players. And it kind of runs with the same thing in Call of Duty, except when you're practicing without aim assist, when you turn your aim assist back on, because we're not going to go into a online match, a public match, at a disadvantage. We're going to turn our aim assist back on. So after you kill your 100 bots without aim assist, we're going to turn that aim assist back on. We're going to kill about 100 more bots, and you guys will really feel the pull of aim assist and how overpowered aim assist actually is. Once you turn on your aim assist back on, you guys should be locking on to players as almost if you guys have hacks. It will feel like you are literally cheating once you turn your aim assist back on. Now, this is a method that a lot of pro players actually do when they warm up, and a lot of players have done in the past when they were trying to reach that next level of gun skill. Also, what you guys want to do in while you're practicing in your private matches, you guys want to practice things like jump shots and slide canceling and all of the tactical things that you guys could do in a match. You want to practice that in your bot lobbies. So that's gonna do it for tip number 2, guys. Make sure you guys are practicing and honing your skills in private lobbies against bots or against other players and plunder if you do not have Modern Warfare multiplayer. This will give you a nice little warm-up because you're getting in very few engagements in an actual public match. You're getting a lot more engagements while you're practicing, which will in turn warm you up for when you actually do decide to go online. Now, guys, for tip number number 3, this is actually the most advanced tip and is actually very hard to master because it requires you to have a lot of self-awareness. A lot of people do not have a lot of self-awareness when it comes to what they do in games. They blame a lot of their deaths on, oh, this person's cheating, or oh, this person's a rat, and this and that. And well, that might be the case, guys. You guys need to prepare and anticipate things. Now, I'm not saying anticipate a cheater, that's different, but I am saying anticipate. If you guys pull up to a building in a vehicle, expect the people that are camping that building to expect you to hop out that car and start walking up that building, the very spot you dropped off at that car. They might not expect you to hop out that car, go into the building, but then instead of going up the side you came in with your car, you run across the building and go up that side. They're most likely waiting for you to come up the side where you parked your vehicle outside. So tip number 3, guys, is improve your situational awareness, aka your game sense. There's a lot of times where a lot of teams will be running out in the open and they kind of just run out in the open all lolly-dolly. They don't have a vehicle, they don't have anything, they don't keep themselves by cover when they are running out into the open. When you guys do things like go up zip lines and stuff, expect there to be somebody there. Know that every time you go up a zip line, it is a risk. You're taking a good risk every time you go up because somebody could be camping. They might have claymores and things like that to kill you as soon as you reach the top. But situational awareness is the #1 thing and the #1 reason why a lot of pro players get a lot of high kills and get a lot of W's. They get a lot of wins. Now, a lot of you guys are probably wondering, well, Big Cat, how do you practice situational awareness? And to be honest, guys, observation is one of the best ways to practice and actually learn situational awareness. What I actually do from time to time, I go ahead and watch some of the pro players, the players that are better than me. I watch them and I watch what they do in certain situations, and what they do in these certain situations I will apply to my own gameplay. And like I said, you guys need to be very aware of what it is that you are doing. So if you guys are running into a building, you guys need to expect every possible outcome. Okay, a couple of players might have dead silence on their team. Okay, one of the players might be watching the steps, 2 of the players might be watching steps, all 4 of them might be hugging each other. You guys need to start anticipating things that you don't want to happen, but that could possibly or potentially happen in the match or during that certain situation. You guys just need to anticipate it, because once you guys have been playing this game long enough and for a very long time, you guys will start to realize players do the same thing no matter what their skill level is. If they are camping the building, a couple of players might hop out and flank you from behind. Some players might stay in the building and camp the top. You know, it all depends on whatever team you're fighting. But guys, I promise you, there is a way to take all of these teams out in the most proficient way possible. And one last thing I want to add on to the topic of situational awareness, guys, make sure you guys are taking your time when you're getting kills. In order to get a lot of high kill games, what I originally thought was a lot of pro players, they were just rushing around the map like mindlessly. And yes, they do rush around the map, but they do it very smart and very strategically. They might have a heli, they might have a vehicle to travel so they can get to different spots and get more kills. But when they are getting into their engagements, they put themselves at the best possible advantage. So if they happen to pull up a team that is at IHOP or something, they might hop out at their vehicle to the building next to it and try to pick off 1 player or 2 players before they decide to go in and rush. Now, I do not care how good of a player you are not killing 4 people that are all aiming at you. I don't care if you're Diaz, Biffle. Yes, now I ain't gonna say you can't get lucky and do it sometimes if that team is extremely bad, but if there's 4 people all aimed at you, I promise you 9.9 times out of 10, you are not going to kill that team. They are going to just burst you down and just obliterate you in half a second. You're not killing 4 people that are shooting at you, guys. It's that plain and simple. So what you guys want to do is you guys want to pull up to buildings next to people and stuff, and you guys actually want to pick a couple off before you go and rush. You need to be able to rely on your gun skill after you go and rush to go ahead and kill people, because once you pick off those 2 players, at least one of those 2 remaining players, if you guys are playing quads, will try to go ahead and get the revive off, which means that's only 1 player you have to worry about to kill that is actually going to be trying to actively fight you, and the other player, you can catch him in the middle of reviving his teammate. So guys, there you have it. That is tip number 3, improve your situational awareness. You guys need to start thinking a little bit more when it comes to gunfights, and you guys need to start being a little bit more self-aware about what you are doing while you are playing the game. So guys, if you enjoyed this video and you found these 3 tips helpful, be sure to hit this video with a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. I do stream on Twitch pretty much much every single day at this point. I'm pretty much on Twitch every single day live, anywhere between 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time to like 12 o'clock. So it varies between those times, but I am on every single day live. So if you guys want to go ahead and follow me on Twitch, I would very much appreciate it. I'll always enjoy your company. We do interact with chat a lot, and we would be vibing over there. I'm Big Cat 188. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.